what's up?
I'm trying to study, but I can't concentrate.
Well, for me, it's best if you go into a quiet space and then turn off your phone.
Oh yeah, that might help.
And then why don't I help you? When are your exams?
They're next week. I don't even know where to start though.
It's good if you study in advance by like making a schedule. So you can like schedule what days you're going to study for what and when.
Okay. So you want to make piles of, so one pile for notes to help organize yourself, another pile for worksheets that are going to be helpful for the test, and then a pile of things that you don't think you'll need for exam day. And that just makes it easier to just sort through everything and find things that you need.
Okay, so for another thing that I find useful for classes, especially like science and social studies and English, it's really good to take all of the notes that you have for the class that you think are important and rewrite them. And sometimes like for science, you know when you have like a lot of notes?
Yeah.
It's best to like take notes on your notes. You take all of like, you'll go through each section in chronological order and then take note of like vocabulary that it's important that you don't remember, and make sure just rewriting it, that sort of muscle memory is really helpful.
Okay.
Another thing that's really helpful is like in social studies, a lot of times they'll give you like the essential question for the unit, or like in science. So it's good to like be able to know that like those could be an essay question if the teacher says that there's going to be an essay on the final. So it's good to like practice writing an answer for that, or just think about what you would say if that was a question on the test.
Okay. So like sort of plan your essays out before you take the test?
Yeah, at least bullet point what you would write.
Okay.
Like I'm a very visual learner, so I think it's like good to use different color markers and stuff. So like if you have vocabulary words in like one color and then like their definitions in another color, it just sort of like highlights where to like look, and you can remember it better if you are using like different colors and rotating. And then like for finals, a lot of times it's like you take the more broad ideas, because like the first half of the year you're not really going to focus on like the details or like the dates or like specifics. You're just going to take like a few questions from that and then sort of use that broad idea. So you can like ask your teacher what specifically is going to be on it, but like don't stress the small stuff.
Okay. So it's going to be more towards the second half of the year?
A lot of times it is, but you have to then again like talk to your teacher and see what it's going to be mostly on.
Okay. How am I supposed to remember like all the vocab words that I get though? Because between all my classes, there's so many words I need to know.
A really good source to use is Quizlet. Quizlet's like, it's this online source, it's Quizlet.com, and you can make an account and create whatever group of flashcards you want, or even search like the unit. Like if you're doing a unit of vocabulary, a lot of times they have it. Or like you can search like the muscular system if it's for anatomy, and a lot of times similar vocab words to what you need will come up with definitions, but like you can make your own as well. And then when you have those decks, you can make tests with them, or you can play games online with them, and it's really helpful for actually memorizing it.
That sounds like a great source. Once you create a set in Quizlet, you can do basically anything. Here we're using the flashcard feature, in which we can just review the words over and over until you feel comfortable that you know them. And next we're going to use the Learn feature, where you're given a definition and you just type in the word. This will help you become familiar with them, and there are also a lot more features available.
And then once you have a group of things printed out from Quizlet, you can print out flashcards and then have someone quiz you or quiz yourself by reading over it. Or with anything, it's good to have people be able to look through a study guide and quiz you on it. Or in speaking words out loud, like saying like what it is, that really helps it resonate with your brain, because a lot of times when you're saying it, it's more helpful.
Okay.
All right. What year was the Declaration of Independence signed?
1776.
Yeah.
So for my history classes, I have to know like maps and stuff. How do you suggest I study for those?
A lot of times it's helpful to be able to go online and find blank maps and diagrams. And when you find a blank map or diagram, you can print a few and then practice just filling it out with you can even add your own word bank if they don't have it, or add your own labels. But a lot of times that's really helpful because you can just keep repeating, writing it, and do exactly what you would be doing on the test.
And in my English classes, I read a lot of books throughout the year. Like, how do you suggest I study for those and like remember what they were about? Because I forget.
Okay, so this is going to sound like cheating or something, and a lot of times teachers say things that are like about SparkNotes that makes sense if you're a teacher and you're trying to get kids to read a book. But a lot of times SparkNotes, once you've already read a book, can be really helpful for getting summaries of each character. They have character lists on there if the book's on there. And a lot of times that can be helpful to refresh your memory, or really any summary online if you can look it up.
Okay. How do I avoid studying for like too long? Like, I don't want to just study nonstop because I don't think I would be able to do that. How do you suggest I handle it?
So again, with the scheduling, how I said in the beginning, how it's important to plan out when you're going to study for each exam, it's also important to set goals that you can attain. Like, say, I'm going to copy down all of my notes, and then I'm going to give myself a 15-minute break to get a snack, or I'm going to give myself a 15-minute break to go exercise or something. It's important to have these incentives, otherwise you're not going to want to keep studying and have the motivation to continue.
Okay. And when it comes to the day of the test, like, what do you suggest I do? Should I study like before I take my test, or what?
It's really important to get a good night's sleep. So even if you are like really struggling on something and you've been studying so much, it's still important to go to bed on time and be able to get that rest that you'll need for the exam. And then if you want, you can wake up about like 15 to 30 minutes earlier and just read over everything that you had been studying the night before and make sure you didn't forget it. So like it's important to like review before you leave as well. And then show up to the exam early. It's a lot of times your teachers will be there, or even if they're not there, you can work with other kids in your class in the hallway and see what they've been studying and their sort of review guides and study guides. And a lot of times that's really helpful. Go.
Okay. Thanks for all your help. It really paid off.